Now we're going to go into the Q&A. Let me open up some questions from the people, from my family online. You guys who I love so much. Thank you for sending in questions. You can always send in questions at charlie@charlieharary.com. Always feel free to send it in. And I'm just going to go through as many as I can here. We don't have time for so much, but we'll do a couple. Yechiel Miller sent in something yesterday. Yesterday, you spoke about remembering the good and keeping the feeling, so next time when you have that separation anxiety, remember this feeling and you'll be able to do it. But what if someone is very anxious and thinks so much about how this will work out and what will be? How do they control their mind and calm it down, telling them that everything will be okay? What a great question, Yechiel. Let's talk a little bit about anxiety. This is a big issue. Anxiety is a big issue. I've got a lot to say about it. Number one, there's two types of anxiety. There's a million types. I'm going to put it into two general categories of anxiety. Number one, anxiety that needs to be dealt with medically. It's a mental condition, mental illness condition. We cannot discard it, and we cannot dismiss it, and we cannot tell people who feel very anxious, grow up. There's actually a football player, I think he's on the Eagles, who is a Pro Bowl tackle. I'm sure Andy is already Googling it. He's a lineman on the Eagles or the Panthers who suffers from anxiety. And he is an outspoken, he's a spokesman for it. And one of the things that is so critical from what he's saying, Brandon Brooks, of course, Andy knows, just for the record, I think that was like 4 seconds. For those who are here live, you get to see the joy of having Andy Boltex, my magical producer behind the scenes, just finish things up. Just for the record, the other day I said Stanford Magical Review. I think that's what I learned it as. But I guess it wasn't searchable. And the live crew, which anybody who wants to join live, you're welcome to join with us every morning at 9. We've got an incredible crew here in the chat that doesn't stop, which I love. You just email me, charlie@charlieharary.com, and I'll give you the link. So I think it was Rochelle who said it was like 3 seconds and Andy didn't have it on. So it's great how much we were expecting it. So Brandon Brooks is a spokesman for this idea that anxiety isn't just grow up. Mental health is not just grow up. And people need to understand that. And society needs to understand that. Mental health is real. And we have an obligation as society and as individuals to take care of people and to not poo-poo things. And if you're a person that's suffering from anxiety, you have to take it seriously. And what that means is you cannot self-diagnose yourself. And what that means is you have to go to multiple doctors. Meaning, you don't roll into the first psychologist and say, what do you think? And they prescribe medication. When you're ready to take medication, you better be real sure. Real sure. The challenge is, because this is real, there are some people who need to be treated properly, and they need to see people, and there are some people who don't. And what they're feeling is what people feel. But what's happening is they don't feel strong enough to put in the work, the grueling, tireless, endless work of rewiring your mind, of being courageous when you feel anxious, of recognizing that it's normal to be nervous, of recognizing that there are plenty of people that live very healthy, normal, wonderful lives who also feel anxious, and they learn how to adapt and to be very productive powerful members of society who over time reduce their anxiety, because anxiety is neuroplasticity. So there are people in the camp who don't suffer from anxiety that need to be clinically dealt with. But because they don't know and they're self-diagnosing themselves, they're not able, they don't know that when you feel nervous or anxious, that's normal. Lots of great people who perform a lot feel anxious and normal. And you got to look at this the way you would look at losing weight, the way you would look at becoming a professional at medicine. Be a professional at your life. And you see this as a testament to my grandmother. You see this with people that went through incredible trauma who, I'm not saying all of them, many of them figured it out. So when a person is suffering from some level of anxiety, they should first and foremost begin the process of recognizing that this is a challenge given to them, and they have to work on it. They can't be knocked down by it. They can't say, I have anxiety, so I'm out. They have to be willing to go through it. And to Liron's point, it's incredibly difficult. And in the process of engaging in this, they have to take this seriously enough to say, I got to go speak to professionals. Not one, but multiple ones, because this is it's such a new area that I can't rely on one professional who may be just trigger happy on meds. But if you have anxiety and it's really, I don't mean you just feel nervous, if you have real anxiety, you have to engage in it. You have to recognize that it's something you have to overcome, and whether you can overcome it on yourself, with your family, and understand it with your friends or through actual professionals, you have to realize that the one thing you cannot do is give into it. And this is the thing that I want to leave you with. And I bet you, and I'm seeing even on the line here, someone as incredible as Liron who's here. And if you've been here and you're watching Liron's text, you see this, how incredible he is. You will see the one thing, no matter what, that you can never do to anxiety is let it win. You never look at it and go, I have anxiety. You have to fight it. If you have it, you have to fight it, and you fight it through, well, when I mean fight it, Liron's making a good point. I don't mean you fight it with, you're always up against it. I mean you fight it with, I have it, and I got to deal with it. And the way you deal with it can be through a personal approach, through studying and learning on your own, with people like you, with friends, or with more. But you never, like anything in life, never just succumb to it. It's a challenge. And if you have it, that means you have the ability to navigate it and to achieve even with it. You have to feel that. You have to feel that. Okay, everybody, we're going to continue this. Thanks for being here. And with God's help, I can't wait to see you again tomorrow.